Hey guys, what's up? It's Stephanie Fleitas here with creatingwithin.com, and today I wanted to talk to you guys on the topic of trust and forgiveness. Trust and forgiveness is the most important ingredient, I believe, in a relationship, in any relationship. It is the foundation of what makes a relationship, and without it, you're not going to get very far in that relationship if there's no trust. So I wanted to share with you guys from my experience and what I've learned throughout my journey thus far and from other people's experiences is the two things that I've noticed. When somebody does something that causes us to lose trust in them, we have two choices to make. And that choice is that we either can forgive them and decide that we can be vulnerable with our partner again or with that person again, and that we're going to move towards love and try to rebuild. Or we decide that we can't be vulnerable and we can't trust again, and therefore we need to move on. But when we choose to forgive and stay in a relationship, what we have to come to terms with is that relationship, the minute we forgive and decide to move forward with it, we have to really take a step back and realize that we're going to have to start this relationship brand new. The relationship is going to have to be a new relationship. You have to give that trust back when you choose to stay with someone, because what happens is we don't trust them and we continue to replay the situation over and over instead of really trying to work towards healing and moving towards love again. What we're doing is we're sitting in resentment and we're cultivating all this energy of resentment towards the other person that we love but who has now hurt us, and now we don't trust them, but we're still choosing to stay. And by allowing ourselves to stay in the situation but not really working through the issues and really knowing that the trust has to be given automatically again, because it's the only way that you can rebuild something. You can't build something on an unstable foundation, and that means that a relationship can't work if you don't trust. So I'll give you an example, an illustration of my life on how I really came to learn more about what this topic really means as far as giving somebody trust automatically if you decide to stay with them, just to give you a better idea. So here we go, storytelling time again. I learned this lesson a couple years back, almost 6 years ago, when of course I was in a relationship. A lot of my lessons have come from relationships, as you guys will learn as you continue to learn more about my inner world. But a couple years back, I was in a relationship, and of course I was young and we had our ups and downs, and we went through a couple of things where this person made me lose trust in them. I remember that, of course, I was so in love. I was not ready to walk away from the relationship, and he did some stuff to me that were really hurtful. I talked about it, but I chose to stay in the relationship, and I said I forgave him and I wanted to move forward with the relationship. But what I didn't know at the time, and I know now, is that although I forgave him and I continued on with the relationship, I never really did the inner work. I never really reflected on how that had really affected me. And I never really asked myself the questions like, Stephanie, can I really get past this? Like, am I gonna be able to trust him again? Can I really let go of this? I never asked myself those questions. And so what ended up happening is, here I am in a relationship with this person who, yes, hurt me and did some hurtful things to us that broke trust and that broke my trust when it came to him and when it came to our relationship. That foundation was broken. But I chose to stay with him. But I never really asked myself those important questions. There was no way that we were going to be able to really have a healthy relationship when I constantly was replaying the incident over and over in my head, and I really didn't trust him, and I felt really insecure, and every time that I had a chance, I was like looking at his phone, doing all kinds of crazy things that make us crazy when people break our trust, especially when it comes to a romantic relationship and somebody does something like some sort of infidelity or something to that extent. Even more so, that kind of brings all kinds of crazy emotions within you. And because of that situation, for me experiencing that, I learned what it was to be a really insecure person when I I had never up to that point been an insecure person. I had always been very secure within myself. And because of what he did that made me lose trust in him, but really it was my decision to stay in the relationship and not really give it a fair shot, because I never really give it a fair shot. I mean, I could sit here and I look back and I could sit here and blame it on him, but the reality was that once I decided to stay in the relationship, instead of working on rebuilding a relationship and starting fresh, I didn't give the relationship a new shot because I was still living in the past. I was still bringing up what he did to the forefront. And now I was insecure, and now every time we went out, I was like worried, like, oh my God, is he looking at someone, feeling all types of way, which makes you act crazy, and then you get into fights, and then you throw the stuff back into their face, and then before you know it, you're just in this toxic cycle, and you really believe that it's the other person's fault because they did this, they created this mess. But what you don't realize at the time, and what I didn't recognize at the time, was that yeah, he might have created the offense, he might have done it, but I had a choice. I could have still forgiven him and walked away from it, but I chose to stay. But what I didn't do was really truly forgive him and let go, because with forgiveness and choosing to stay with someone, this trust has to come automatic, because you can't have a relationship with no trust. It's just not gonna work. It can work temporarily, it can be a very mediocre kind of relationship, but to have an excellent, to have a quality relationship, you need trust. And these are the lessons of life that are difficult, but it's what makes it all worth it, because this is where we learn, this is where we gain the wisdom. And so we have to go through situations like this so that hopefully we can extract the wisdom and then apply it to our lives as we move forward. And so that's really what I learned from that. I realized that sometimes we make a bigger mess of things when we don't let go of stuff. And you know what? People are always going to hurt us. People are going to do things that is going to disappoint us. But a lot of times, people are not really intentionally trying to hurt us. Most of the stuff that people do are really not about us. It's really about them. Most people are just trying to have their needs met one way or another. And it's never really about the other person. Now, you have maybe the 1 or 2% out there that maybe do intentional stuff to hurt us, but the majority of people are not intentionally trying to hurt you. They're just trying to figure it out just like you are. We all have our own issues and our inner demons to kind of wrestle with and our inner world to sort out. And relationships are the forefront for expansion. Our work is going to provide us the most contrast and bring us our biggest issues so that we can work through it and gain the wisdom so that we can continue to grow and become hopefully the best version of ourselves if we're learning and then integrating what we've learned from these relationships and interactions. So that's just it. People are usually going to do things that hurt us, and I think at least for me, the older I've gotten and the more that I've learned, I have been able to cultivate the ability to forgive very easily. So I invite you guys to really get in touch with what it really means to forgive and let go and moving towards trust again. If you choose to stay in a relationship, if you choose to continue a romantic relationship or a friendship when somebody has broken your trust. But then again, you have a choice. Remember, I'm not saying that you have to trust the person again or you have to stay in the relationship. You can forgive and move on and start over somewhere else. I'm just saying that if you do choose to stay, you have to recognize that you're going to have to ask yourself some questions, and you're going to have to really think about, can you really do this? Can you start over? Can you really truly forgive and let go and give this person a fair shot? Blank slate, blank canvas. Can you do that? The road is not going to be easy. It's not an easy road to take, and it's not for everybody. Not everybody's ready to go down that path. Sometimes it's very easy. It's easier to just walk away. But again, the choice is always ours. And I want us to realize that we are not victims of anything, and that we always have a choice. And it's all about how we choose to look at something in life and how we choose to move forward. So I hope this was helpful, and I will talk to you guys.